Four-post hoist video. We're going to do both hoists today. So we've got two vehicles that are already pulled into the hoist. If you're using this, what we call the alignment hoist, it's the northernmost hoist. These pins, one of them's missing right now, but I know they're both in there. But you want to try to get those plates. These plates will move in and out so that they're in the center of the tire and we're not driving over these pins and sticking into the tires. So it's something to be aware of. It's best if you can get centered on the lift right to left. Then when you go to lift it up, the jacks underneath will reach. So we'll go ahead and raise it up. Here are the controls for this lift. This is the power button to raise it up. Before I go to that part, let me state that we want to make sure that the vehicle's in park or neutral with the park brake set. Mainly the park brake being set is key. Obviously park will keep the vehicle from moving, but it's nice to make sure that that thing is not going to move on you when you start to raise the hoist up. So the power is here to run the pump, or the motor which runs the pump, and fluid goes into this cylinder here and will then pull the ram and raise the vehicle up. So that's what's going on with the... So this, you don't have to worry about anything when you're raising it up. It will automatically cycle. Those are the safety locks that you'll see across the way, or more directly right here by me. So they're going to climb over the top of those. Slam down. You'll hear them, all four of them hit at different times. So it's important. And I've heard all four of them click, and now I take this handle and push in on it and it will let the hoist down, and we're going to watch to see if all four corners come to rest on the safety locks, which they did. So now we're safely positioned. The weight is on the locks, not the hydraulic cylinder. I'm going to come underneath, and this is the jack that will then be used to lift up the air jacks. So I'm pushing down here. We do have rubber bumpers that can be used. They're randomly placed around the shop. They should be around the hoist here. This hoist is a little different than the other rotary lift. This is the Pro lift. I'm going to use these blocks to put in for spacers. So it's important that we're trying to locate something very solid. On this particular vehicle, it does have a frame and it's got springs, suspension, and where the shock and the springs bolt on to this rear differential, that's going to be a solid contact point. So these will move in and out. For width, I can grab it, slide it ahead if I need to get it positioned underneath a stable. Okay, get that ready. Get this one over. So I went up. There we go. Lower it back down so I've got space to put these blocks under. And back. So we're good there. We're off the ground. This is Normally they're more even. Not sure what the difference is, why the vehicle's sitting crooked. So we're up in the air. This will lock at some point also. When you get high enough, I heard it hit, so now if we let it, try and let it down, now it's at rest, so it's locked, the safety locks are on it. To remove them, you have this handle. To release it, you have to lift it back up, take the weight off of it, and then release the handle, and I'm gonna have to use both hands here to hold the handle up while I release. And down we come. Okay. You may have to release this arm again. I think I've caught it on the second safety lock coming down. So if it doesn't quite sit down all the way, then it could be sitting on the last lock. Yeah, so that I raised it up, released the handle a second time, and now it's went all the way down to where we've got clearance. So that's how you use the air jack to raise it up. And again, the main thing is just getting it supported to raise it up in order to take wheels off, do brake work, change tires, etc. Now to lower it, this is now sitting on the locks, as I mentioned. We have to raise this up so that this arm can stand up and swing out of the way of these braces here. So we have to take it up in the air first before we lower it down. And I'm going to take it up probably 6-8 inches to make sure they're all clear. And I can see that it's actually starting to hit the next rung. So I know I'm up high enough. This is the button to release it. And it should stand all four up. And I'm going to look at that front one. See if we can zero in on that. So I'm going to push on the button again. Looking up, standing up nice and tall. Check all four corners. This one's standing almost straight up and down. That's awesome. Now we push on the yellow lever again. To lower it. I'm going to have to switch my hands around here so I can do both at the same time. And yellow handle, and we're watching all four corners, trying to watch them all at the same time, or just keep scanning to make sure that everything's going down. Make sure that there's nothing underneath the hoist that's going to get damaged or cause the hoist to not lower. Back down to the starting point where we can then back off the hoist and out the door. There we go. So I did mention about putting it in park or neutral. The other thing is to make sure that the vehicle's clear. Back up. Just make sure there's no battery charger on it, for example. That's happened before, still hooked up. Nothing out in the way to where cables, extension cords, etc. are around the hoist. So that's the Pro Lift. The rotary is the next one we'll do. Not much difference. The controls are a little bit different. Let's close this door. You want to also be aware of the overhead clearance too. Like these light cages stick down, so you've got to keep paying attention to what's going on around you, not go to sleep. So we'll check, make sure the vehicle's clear. It's in park or neutral. This is a manual transmission, which means it should be in gear and the brakes set, so we're in good shape there. It should not move as we start to raise it up. These controls, this is the button that runs the electric motor, which runs the pump. We'll come to these releases and the safety lock release when we get to that point. So we'll take this up first. And you'll hear the safety locks clicking. Again, notice they're 4 hitting at different times. So if I'm going to work on this vehicle, I want to make sure that each time I'm hearing it click, 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 then I can lower it down and it will stay even. On the locks. If I only have 2 of them locked and then to try to lower it down to a position to work on it, the other 2 are going to try to drop down to the next bracket and you're going to have an uneven vehicle. So try to just be aware of that. Okay, so we're up pretty high now to where we can use the jacks. I'm not going to mess with this. I want the locks to engage, so I'm going to release the pressure. And I've watched all 4 corners, and they've all come to rest in the working position. Now, I've got 1 block here I'm going to have to go find. The blocks, they come in the half size, which equal 1 of the full thickness blocks. So they could also be located over here on the 2-post hoist. These are the common storage points for them if people are getting them put back. So in this air jack, they've got a spot here, so it's laid out so you can see the block goes in, and we'll go with another big block. Now in this case, this will be strong enough here. So again, the shock goes there, so that's usually a good indication it will handle the weight. These will slide in and out. Try to get out to the point where it will engage that shock. And the air jack's the same. Make sure we're missing the tire, especially if we have to take the tires on and off. And we are airborne. This will also have safety locks on it built in here. This slides up above these pieces that will then drop down and prevent them from dropping back down. So anyway, you can go up the lock, you release the hydraulic pressure, and it will be sitting on the locks. Also, if that's the case, then you have to manually hold this up out of the way while you release the pressure to drop it down, and I will do that now. And down it comes. This also has 2 different levels on it, so it may seem like it's down and be stuck with it not being totally released and then it's sitting up in the air, and when you try to drive off the hoist, it can create some problems, especially if cars are lowered and doesn't have the ground clearance. Generally push these up a little bit further so that they can get on and off this hoist without those being right in the way back here. So, okay, to go down, we have to go up first. So again, we're gonna go here, watch all corners, get all four corners moving. Front right's the last one to move. We lift up, I hear the releases moving, and then we can hit this with our other hand. And I'm watching all four corners to make sure it's moving down. You do need to hold this release while it's going down. Make sure that there's clearance around the vehicle. Nothing's sitting underneath it. I see a jack over there, but it's not under the vehicle. Keep your feet from underneath these ramps. They're going to come down and slide out. You can see the wear marks on the floor. It's a very slow lift, which allows people to be safe, and nothing's going to happen too fast that you can't get stopped before it gets dangerous or deadly. Okay, so we're all the way down. Release locks, and we're good to go. The vehicle can be started and driven off, and the next one comes on. Okay, so the 4-post hoist, there you go.